if I'm sitting here, am I sitting in front of the screen, or can you all see it? Yeah? Okay, good. Because otherwise I will walk, I might walk to the screen anyway to point the things out. Okay, so let's introduce Gottfried Michael Koenig to you. I would have to have spent a lot of time introducing him completely. But Gottfried Michael Koenig was born in 1926 and he became 95 years old. He died in December 2021. And Miriam and I were very close friends to him, apart from the fact that he was so important as a composer and as a theorist also to me. Koenig started to make electronic music in the studio in Cologne in the second half of the 1950s. He was there not only as a composer, but he was there also as a technician. He realized a lot of electronic music for other composers. He is particularly known for his collaboration with Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. We can think about Gesangjuling, about Kontakte, where Koenig was crucial for the technical realization of those pieces. Not only as a technician, but really also as somebody who was able to translate the composer's ideas into a technical realization, because at that time composers would write a score and they would come with this score, and then somebody had really to find a way to translate the idea of the score into a technical realization, which was very difficult also because the equipment that they were working with was not at all made for musical purposes, but it was measuring equipment, and so every sound had to be made one by one, spliced on tape, so it was an incredibly laborious process to compose that kind of music at that time. The page of the graphic representation of the score that you see here behind me is a piece from Gottfried Michael Koenig from 1955-1956. It's the first page. The whole piece lasts around 10 minutes and there are 76 of these hand-drawn pages for the full score. And the piece is called Funktionen 2, so Funktionen number 2. And you see also here that it is a 4-channel piece. In fact, it is one of the first 4-channel pieces that were composed in the studio in Cologne. There were two made almost simultaneously. One was Gesangjuling by Stockhausen and the other was Funktionen 2 by Koenig. And they were premiered together at a concert in May 1956. And the horizontal line here is indicating tape centimeters. And tape centimeters at a speed of 76.2 centimeters per second, so a very high tape speed. And you can see here how incredibly detailed the graphical score is. And that means that every individual element that you see here is actually the result of splicing a very short piece of sound next to another one on tape. And what I find very fascinating immediately about this score page is that you see that there is a very compositional approach to the spatialization of the sound. Yeah, it is not that there is one sound there and one sound there and one sound there, but there is the suggestion of a kind of movement in space which is based on small variations of the same material on the four speakers. I'm going to play you Funktionen 2. Unfortunately, I only have it with me in stereo, but still you will get a good impression of the piece. We're not going to listen to the whole piece, but just to for 3-4 minutes of it so that you get an idea how that piece sounds. What Koenig also does in essay, and that is very important for the development of electronic music composition, is that he became tired, I mean not only tired in the sense that he was bored with it, but he had to do all that practical work for other composers, and he was frustrated with the situation where you are surrounded by equipment and at the same time you have all those machines, but you're doing all the work yourself by hand. You're recording sounds on tape, you're cutting, and that seemed to Koenig a very simplistic way, that I am surrounded by all those machines, why don't those machines do some work for me? Why can't there be a more intelligent and more efficient way of translating compositional ideas to the equipment that I'm working with? Koenig starts to create a certain starting material that he then transforms through technical procedures in various ways to make variations of some basic material, so that not everything has to be done from scratch again and again and again and again. There's another reason to why essay is such an important piece. You can also hear that tendency already a little bit in Klankfiguren, which is that Koenig starts to work with such short sounds that he's trying to enter what you would now call the micro-domain of sound. So he's not only composing sounds in a sequence, but he is really trying to create a kind of fluctuation of sound, a fluctuation of timbre, that itself becomes a kind of expression of musical form. So in essay there are moments where the tapes are cut to lengths shorter than 1 centimeter, and this at this very high tape speed you are in an area, in a domain of durations where you don't recognize sounds as individual elements anymore, but you really start to hear a kind of greater shapes that fluctuate. Koenig started to teach in the Netherlands in 1962, so quite shortly after he had composed Terminus. First as a guest teacher in Gaudiamus Music Week, where he was leading a composition workshop in 1961, and then in 1962 he became a teacher in electronic music in a very small studio in a garden house in Bilthoven. Where he would go 1 week per month, then go back to Cologne, and while he was away there was a technician, Jaap Vink, who was working with the students on the assignments that Koenig had left behind. And this course was very successful. It was repeated in 1963, and then in 1964 Koenig was asked to become the artistic director of the studio of Utrecht University. That was an incredible impulse for the Dutch electronic music scene, say. Because not only did Koenig bring all the expertise and ideas that he had developed while he was in Cologne, but he was also an enormously good organizer of an educational program. He had all kinds of ideas of streamlining the procedures that you needed in studios to make electronic music. And he was a very good writer, so he could also write about electronic music, he could publish articles, he could, so he was really a motor behind electronic music in the Netherlands after he came. And then there are 4 monotape machines here, and there is a half-inch 4-channel tape recorder there to make 4-channel recordings. And these 2 gentlemen here are staring at an oscilloscope that was part of the so-called variable function generator.